Hi guys, it's Ouchomano. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Guys, I'm seriously considering changing my name on YouTube. I'm not sure. I need your advice and help. Anyway, I saw recently one of my favourite reviewers, SMURFYGURLY Claire. I'm stealing your idea and I'm really sorry, but isn't that what us YouTubers do? She did a video about her current wish list, the fragrances that she really wants to get into her collection. So I wanted to do mine because my wish list at one point was about 50 or 60 fragrances, and I thought to myself, have a word with yourself, sort it out, that's a bit ridiculous. And my wish list hasn't changed for a long time. Occasionally I add one or take one off, but this is a really solid wish list for me, and it's 10 fragrances that I really hope to get in my collection, at least half of them by the end of the year. Things that I've been out and sniffed, things that I've randomly found a sample of in my treasure trove of perfumes and just thought, wow, that's astounding. So here is my list. So the first one on the list has been on my wish list for a very long time. It's the tippity top one that I want to get the most, and it is called Alang 49 and it's by Labo. These things ain't cheap, hence the reason it's been on my wish list for a very long time. Something to note about this fragrance is it doesn't smell like Alang at all. It's called Alang 49, but it doesn't smell like that at all. It smells really gorgeous. It's a really bright, super potent floral that when I reviewed it, I fell in love, or just before I reviewed it, I fell in love. I'm sure I reviewed it maybe even 2 years ago, possibly. It's been on my list for the longest time ever, and I will get it eventually, but it's a floral that doesn't really fit any particular floral. It's just a feeling that I get from it. It kind of reminds me of a really obscure fragrance I have called Angerinalia by Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, which has olive in it and stuff like that. It doesn't smell like olives, don't get it twisted, but this one spoke to me in a really big way, and I've been searching for the perfect Alang fragrance for ages, and this is not the one. This is something else entirely. I just really want this one, okay? So it's top of my list, lots and lots of floral notes in it, really complex, interesting, and it makes me feel something, so that's why it's number one on the list. The next one on the list is called The Cobra and the Canary, and it's by Imaginary Authors. I, for the longest time, really loved their fragrance called The Soft Lawn, also Falling into the Sea, but The Cobra and the Canary, upon wearing it and working with it and having it in my daily life, in my job, has gone to the top of my list as a want from them. So this one is, I won't tell you the full story, but it's essentially a leather fragrance. It's about new car smell. It's leathery from iris. It has hay in it, I think. It has, what's the thing? It has an asphalt kind of feeling. So it's kind of like an earthy leather. I guess it's kind of masculine in a weird way, but I've never smelled anything like this before, and I like the story behind it. It's got this really cool grey bottle, and I knew that I liked it when I first tried it, but then one day I randomly smelled it on somebody in a supermarket, and so many times in my life, and I'm sure yours as well, when you smell something on someone else, that's when you get to appreciate the true magic of a fragrance and how something feels when it's in the air from a person. That's happened to me so many times. It's a real thing. It's an actual real thing. And that happened with this fragrance. It's leathery, it's iris, it's kind of powdery but edgy at the same time. It's really hard to describe, but it's a great one, and yeah, I want it. It's on my want list. I want her. I will get her. Some of these I will get by the time 2019 is over. The next one on the list is the most extravagant one. It's the priciest one that I want, and it's called Sogno Reale, and it's by Mendota Rosa. It's part of their Talismans line. Oh gosh, this one haunts me. You know, have you ever been haunted by a fragrance? You can't stop thinking about a fragrance. This one is so beautiful and elegant. It's essentially an amber fragrance, but it's not a traditional amber fragrance. It's not the resinous, vanillic kind of classic amber that you might find in, say, Shalimar, things like that. It's actually kind of a marine amber. There's ginger in it. I think it might have rum as well. It's a very light, airy amber fragrance that lasts for days and days and days. It's a huge compliment getter, and that's not why I want it, but obviously people notice it. I used to work with a girl who actually had this one as well because she fell in love with it the same as me, and the amount of times she said she got stopped on the underground and in the street about it just solidifies to me that it's a great fragrance. It's absolutely stunning. It's very pricey, but I will try to get it in my collection by the end of the year. It's about dreams. Sonia Reale it's a dreamy, fluffy, gorgeous, light, feathery amber fragrance that's very hard to describe, but need it in my collection. Stat. The next one is a fragrance that I randomly found a sample of in my treasure trove of samples because I haven't tried all of them, or many of them really. I kind of do it as I go. And it's called Santa Love, and it's by Nishan, or Nishane. The reason I want this one is because it smells very much like Samsara. Why not just get Samsara, you might ask? However, this one smells to me like the vintage Samsara. It has all of the potency and longevity that Samsara had in its heyday. It's centered around sandalwood, of course, same as Samsara is. And the reason I want it is because this is still in production, and I feel like it could be my answer to the fact that Samsara has now been obliterated and changed beyond all belief and gone through multiple reformulations. It's the saving grace that's going to save my favourite fragrance in the world from becoming obsolete in my world. So, Santa Love by Nishan. I need to try it again. I wore it once and it was one of those flowy sillage bomb things, and it felt like the essence of Samsara, so that's why it's on my wish list. The next one is called Volcano, and it's by Carna Barcelona. Another pricey one. This is the reason they're on my wish list and I don't have them. Why is something on your wish list and not in your collection? A. Price. Period. Volcano is gorgeous. Volcano hits every single spot for me that I look for in an Oriental. It's mainly centered around labdanum. It's a gorgeous, rich, resinous fragrance with Bulgarian rose. There's a bit of ginger in there as well. It's a smooth, flowy, luxurious, it feels like amber because labdanum is part of the amber accord thing. And when I wear this, it's one of those ones that I feel empowered by. It makes me feel like a badass bitch. So I like fragrances that enhance or change my mood in a positive way, and this one really does it. I can feel that I'm wearing it, and it feels kind of dark, gothic, and expensive and cool, and that's none of what I am, so that's why I want it. The next one is one that I smelled when I went on a sniffing trip to Javoy last year with my friend Olga. I will post a link to that video actually because we smelled a lot of stuff that day. There's a brand called Jules Mad, and they have a fragrance called Belladonna. I found this one on the hunt for my perfect ylang ylang. There is ylang ylang in there, but there's a lot of other stuff too. It's a really beautiful, powdery, fluffy floral with some richness, with a nice density at the core. And this one is one of those things that I just describe as being gorgeous. It's luxurious. It's kind of French boudoir-y in a weird way. It's really elegant. And their fragrances, again, they're quite pricey, which is why I don't have it. But Belladonna, to me, is very pretty, and it's another floral that I want to add to my collection because it doesn't feel like any other floral that I have. So that's why. The next one came out of nowhere. It's a Molinard fragrance. I visited Molinard when I went to Grasse both times and didn't see this fragrance there. This was another one that came out of nowhere from digging in my treasure trove, and it's called Chypre Charnel. The downside of this one for me is that this is why it's not on my list, in my collection, sorry, is because it comes with a vintage puffer, and I don't like that because they're renowned for evaporating your fragrances quite quickly. Yeah, they look pretty, but they're not practical. So I need to do a bit of research and find out if this fragrance does come with an actual sprayer, or, you know, like some of the Guerlain ones, you can actually just switch the puffer for a sprayer. But Chypre Charnel, to me, quenches my thirst for a Chypre that isn't a super green one. Like, it's not a Mitsuko, it's not Chanel No. 19. It was another super elegant one that really made me stand to attention. I just thought, There's something different about this one. I'm not sure what the notes are. This is just a rundown. This is a rundown video. This is not an in-depth review video, just so you know. Something with this one got me. I think there is oak moss in it, but there were enough florals in it to overshadow that and let the oak moss be just an accent. Beautiful one, and it's a tough one to describe, and I only smelled it from a couple of sprays from a sample, but sometimes things hit you really hard and you know, I want this one now. So the next one is called Callum Manton, and it's by Shantakai. I love both of those words, Callum Manton and Shantakai. They're just pretty words in my head. But Shantakai are actually a makeup brand, I believe, or a cosmetics brand, but they have a couple of fragrances. The bottle is stunning in person, but the juice is everything. This is an incense fragrance. It looks really pretty and gorgeous and light and fluffy and airy. But when you smell it, to me it's kind of edgy. It's like a gorgeous kind of leathery incense with lots of vanilla. As far as I remember, I do have 2 little mini things of it. This one I keep thinking about all the time. Really, really need this in my life. It lasts forever. It's just really special in a way that's hard to put into words. It really is. It's just yum. I'm just quickly looking at the notes. Incense, vanilla, labdanum, patchouli, earthy notes. What is that there? Vanilla, a little bit of oud and cedarwood. It's by no means an oud fragrance. Don't let that put you off if you don't like oud. It's delicate, flowy, but with a twist of sweet darkness that's just so yum. So the second to last one is a fragrance that I've worked with for nearly 2 years, and about 6 months ago it just came out of nowhere and hit me right in the face. It's something that I've shown to customers, it's something that I've worn, something that I just kind of ignored a little bit, but now something's clicked. And this is what happens when you add things to your wish list. It's called Rouge Avignon, and it's by Fedon Paris. A lot of people compare this one to Tom Ford's Black Orchid, and there's a reason for that. They share a lot of the same notes. There is tuba in it, which is an earthy kind of mushroomy thing. There's rose, there's chocolate, there's raspberry in this one as well, and mainly the reason I love this one is because of the dry down. It is one of the most beautiful flowy sandalwoods I've ever smelled, but when you first wear it, it's an earthy chocolate mushroom rose thing, which sounds really weird, but it's kind of unique, and I don't think anything like Tom Ford's Black Orchid. They share some notes, but very different fragrances. So this one is on my list because I've worn it enough times to really appreciate the dry down of this one, and I just, yeah. Please be on my shelf very, very soon. It's Rouge Avignon by Fedon. And the last one on my list is another one that I sniffed when I went sniffing with my friend Olga. We sniffed 300 perfumes that day, but a couple of them really stuck with me, and this one still stuck with me. And then I found a random sample of it in my box and sprayed it, and when I recognised this, how do I know this? Looked it up on the computer, and it's the same one, so it's a sign, okay? It is called Signature, and it's by Ruth Mastenbrook. I couldn't figure out what I was smelling when I first smelled this. Looking at the notes, I mean, I would totally disregard them. It's pineapple, there is white florals in it, there's kind of other stuff like that. And the reason I want this one is because as a child, I was obsessed with the smell of Pantene, or Pantene, as you guys in America call it. Pantene conditioner. The original smell of Pantene conditioner to me was amazing. So amazing that I did a really weird thing where I used to put it in my hair and leave it in my hair just so I could smell like that smell. And if Ruth Mastenbrook ever heard this, she'd probably be totally offended. But this perfume to me has something very similar to the original Pantene conditioner smell. And I wanted to smell like that as a child, and I want to smell like it as an adult. So I will be seeking this fragrance out. I don't really get pineapple that much, but there's something cosmetic-y, shampoo-y about it that really takes me back to my childhood, and I want it. So that is my 10 things that are on my wish list to get, you know, as and when I can, as and when I have some money, as and when I can just grab them or steal them, you know, I'm a thief. I'm not really a thief, guys, I'm just playing. Anyway, that was my top 10 list. I hope you liked it. I'm Ouch110, trying to make the world smell better one video at a time. Speak to you guys soon. Goodbye.